Welcome to Skydive Flanders, the biggest skydiving club of Belgium. Belgium breeds skydive world champions and brews the best beer in the world, so enjoy your time with us. But remember, always keep 8 hours between the beer pump and your first jump. But before you start skydiving, watch this presentation with attention. At the end of this presentation, you can choose what drop zone briefing you want to listen to. In this presentation, we will cover some gear requirements, the whiteboard containing important information about the actual skydiving conditions, how to manifest yourself for a load, how to go about boarding the plane, safety in the plane, sanctions if you show unsafe behavior, safety when flying under canopy. At the end, you select a drop zone briefing. The drop zone briefing covers the boarding area, the landing areas and local rules of the chosen drop zone. A safe skydive starts with safe gear. Make sure your paperwork is in order. An instructor will perform a gear check. Pay particular attention to your closing loop. It has to be in good shape and show no obvious wear. Make sure your closing loop is not too long and is tight as a tiger. A snugly closed main container avoids dangerous and surely painful situations as shown in this photo. A new closing loop is way cheaper than the physiotherapist to get you back in shape. If you trade in a used loop, our shop will give you a new one for free. As we operate a supervan, you will never be alone in free fall or under canopy. So, it is important to know the direction of the jump run, exit separation, landing direction. Depending on the weather conditions, there can be a jump limit. All this information can be found on the whiteboard. Check it before manifesting and also before boarding your load. On the board you will find the drop run expressed in degrees. 0 degrees is north, 90 degrees is east and so on. The wind speed on the ground is expressed in knots. The ground speed is important to work out the exit separation. The lower the speed over ground, the longer you will have to wait before exiting after the group before you. There is a handy table posted next to the whiteboard and in the plane to convert ground speed to the number of seconds between exits needed for a safe separation. The jump limit can be no students, no jumpers with only an A license, no jumpers with only an A or AB license, or no jumpers with A, B or C license. When D license jumpers cannot jump, it is basically time for Plan B, as we will explain later. In the main and in the high-performance landing area you have to land according to the direction of the arrow. This can be drawn on the board. This is an example of the whiteboard as used in drop zone Morcelle. The information mentioned before is drawn on the board and written on the upper right side of the board. Skydive Flanders uses the Burble software to allow skydivers to self-manifest through an app on their phone. If you do not have the Burble Me app installed yet, download it from your app store and install it on your phone. In the app, select the Skydive Flanders drop zone you will be jumping at. For more information on the features of the app, please refer to the Burble software website for more information. Once manifested, it is your responsibility to be ready when your boarding call comes. This means your skydive is prepared, your rig packed and all your other equipment ready. If you miss your call, you lose your jump ticket. A supervan climbs fast, so keep an eye on the screens showing the loads. Please do not manifest yourself after a boarding call was given, as this means rework for the manifest staff. When you hear the gear up call for your load, check your rig, main and reserve pins, AAD, 3-ring, pilot chute correctly stowed. Then put your rig on and fit it, ready to jump. Take your helmet and visual altimeter, both mandatory, and head towards the van or boarding area with all your gear properly fitted, ready to jump. The loadmaster will check the load sheet and assign the exit order. On the next slide we will go over the normal exit order. Place yourselves in the groups you will jump to make life easier on the loadmaster and to allow for efficient boarding of the aircraft. When boarding the plane, always approach the plane from the back. There is a very expensive prop and engine in the front. You might also hurt yourself touching a spinning propeller. Here you see the exit order at Skydive Flanders. Hop and pop exits first. FS4 teams often exit at 10,000 feet, so they are next. At 13,000 feet speed, skydivers exit first. The first tracking group is next. Then it is the belly groups from the big group to smaller groups including solo belly jumpers. Free fly groups follow from the bigger group to smaller groups including solo free fly jumpers. A second tracking group follows the free flyers. Then AFF students and their instructors are the next groups to exit. Tandems exit after AFF. Wingsuits exit last. Board the aircraft in the reverse order from the exit, i.e. wingsuits board first, then tandem and so on. Board the plane according to the reverse exit order as explained before. Go and sit next to a seat belt and attach it to your harness. Put on your helmet, as a protection but also to avoid it flying around in the event of an emergency landing. There should be 6 skydivers sitting on each bench, 1 skydiver between the benches and the rest in the back of the aircraft. Nobody sits in the tail of the aircraft behind the door. Keep your helmet on and seatbelt fastened until you reach an altitude of 1,500 feet. In the case of an emergency, you follow the instructions from the pilot and the loadmaster. If an emergency occurs below 1,500 feet, you assume a crash position and land with the plane. In the case of an emergency between 1,500 feet and 3,000 feet, the pilot can order a bailout. In this case, you exit and after clearing the aircraft, you pull your reserve parachute. In case of an emergency exit above 3,000 feet, you exit on your main parachute. You exit only when ordered by the pilot. He will call out pan 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 exit exit exit. In a normal exit, you follow the exit command of the pilot communicated through the exit lights. When the red light is on, open the door, check for traffic below and wait when the green light comes on. Climb out and exit. Respect the exit separation by counting the seconds between your exit, equals jumping from the aircraft, and the previous group. Do not pull above 5,000 feet as we fly in controlled airspace. Be sure to be under an open canopy at minimum 2,500 feet. Do not fly your canopy up or down the jump run until you clearly spotted the other groups under open canopy. As you share the sky with many skydivers, fly a predictive flight path. No spiraling nor erratic flying. Keep your eyes open and be careful when making turns. The safety officer is responsible for a safe skydiving environment. When the safety officer sees behavior or actions which endanger a skydiver, she can give him a yellow card as a warning. This card is registered digitally and stands for 3 months. If another yellow card is handed out within that period, the skydiver is grounded for the next 24 hours of skydiving days. When the safety officer sees behavior or actions which endanger other skydivers, she can immediately hand out a red card to allow the culprit time for reflection on his actions. Please select the drop zone briefing you want to hear next. Please select the drop zone briefing